Very helpful scriptures for the child of God deciding these things, at least deciding them in such a way as to please God. Romans 12, 1-2. I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now that's the plain command of Scripture, that conformity to the world system in which you live is a sin and displeasing to God. James says in James 4, verse 4, You adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. You want to be God's enemy? All right, be friendly with the world. You want to be God's friend? Then cut them off. You so, but Brother Ruckman, I know you're so worldly you don't understand what I'm talking about, do you? Christ said, that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. You say, well, I wouldn't be showing love. No, you're such a milksop already, you don't have the backbone to stand up like a man. That's your problem. You say, well, if I cut them off, then I wouldn't be showing the love that a Christian ought to show. Listen, God never told you to try to be a Christian like the world thought a Christian should be. He told you to be the kind of a Christian the world wouldn't think was a Christian. He told you not to be conformed to the world. Now, the world has its own idea of what a Christian should be, and that's the kind you should never be. When the world thinks about a Christian, it always thinks about a nice, sweet, soft, charitable, loving person who will put up with anything. That's what the world thinks a Christian is. Many men of the world think the Christian is a sweet, quiet, philosophical, talking, passive resistance, civil disobedience revolutionary who came to overthrow the establishment. That is what a Christian is not. That's the world's idea of a Christian. And that's the kind of a Christian you're not to be. The Christians in the New Testament are strangers and pilgrims on this earth, Hebrews 11:13, and the ones that conform to the world were given the bum's rush. Paul said of Demas in 2 Timothy 4:10, Demas forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed. 2 Corinthians 6:17 says, Wherefore come out from among them and be separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and ye shall be sons and daughters to me, saith the Lord Almighty. Every child of God listening to my voice should choose rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Let us not separate with the air of superiority, but let us separate. Let us not separate as proud, whitewashed Pharisees who are better than anybody else, but let us separate knowing that God has set us apart, not to be like other people, that our goodness is of Him, not of us, our righteousness is of Him, not of us, our victory is of Him, not of us, and we're to have nothing to do with this world or this world system, because this world is not our home. Our affections are to be set on things above, not on things on this earth. Or as Christ said, lay up your treasure in heaven, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Or as Paul says, and says it clearly, they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts thereof. Every problem you have along the line of separation and conformity is a heart problem. If you love God and love the Bible, you'll not love the world and the things in it, and if you love the world and the things in it, you will not love God and love the Bible. No man can serve two masters, in spite of the contemporary baloney put out and propaganda to the effect that some Christians have been successful in doing it. Wherever they became successful in the world, they became unsuccessful in God's sight, for in God's sight, that which is highly esteemed among men, Luke 16, is an abomination in the sight of God. May God help you to live the separated life.